All right, shalom, y'all. I'm your brother Apollos. Shabbat shalom. Happy Sabbath. Happy Passover. Not Easter. And today, we're going to bring out the origin of Easter. But giving all praise to the Most High God, Yahweh, in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shah, who the world called Christ and the Father today. All right, so we got to get into the origin of this pagan holiday that everybody thinks is a godly holiday. Everybody think that they celebrating one thing, but they've been deceived into celebrating another. And we know Satan is the deceiver. So he's behind it all when it comes down to that. So we're going to get into the origin of Easter, and we're going to get into the fact that it's actually a sin to celebrate Easter. All right? Very much so. Let's get that first. It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 31. It says, "Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways." It don't say some of his ways, cool. It says none of his ways. All right? This is a law that we must keep. It's the statute that we must uphold. He said, choose none of the ways of the oppressors. Why? Because these are sins that he commits. These are against God. So let's go into it. This is the Blue Letter Bible. It's a known concordance. You can easily follow along at home and do this yourself on the internet. We're going to simply put in Easter, right? Simply just put it in. All right, so it searched the whole Bible. In the whole Bible, the word Easter is only found one time. We got to understand this. Now, we can click on the tools so we can see what the word actually is in Greek, because it's the New Testament. We scroll it, and get down to Easter. It says Pesach or Passat, where we get the word Passat from, which means Passover. So we click on that, and we see this word Passat. This word is actually used 28 times as Passover and 1 time as Easter. So this word is actually not in the Bible as Easter. It's actually in the Bible as Passover. This word was put in our writings in order to add this paganism into our writings. Hold on 1 second. Now we have to understand our God is against all paganism. But we have to look at the origin of this. All right. So it says the Pashal service, which was accustomed to be offered for the people's deliverance from old Egypt. Deliverance of old from Egypt. The Pashal lamb, i.e., the lamb the Israelites were accustomed to slay and eat on the 14th day. My bad, y'all. Of the month of Nisan, the first month of the year. That's why they had a so-called April Fools, because again, this is the first month of the year, and they said we was fools for celebrating this as the first month of the year. Well, really, this is the month that the Lord told us to celebrate as the first month. It says, in memory of the day which their fathers, preparing to depart from Egypt, were bidden by God to slay and eat a lamb, and to sprinkle their doorposts with its blood, that the destroying angels, seeing the blood, might pass over their dwellings. Christ crucified is likened unto the slain Paschal lamb, the Passover lamb, the Paschal supper, the Paschal feast, the feast of the Passover, extending from the 14th to the 20th day of the month of Nisan. All right, we ain't see nothing about no bunnies, nothing about no eggs. All we see is Passover, Passover, Passover. and lamb. Important to understand that because we got to see that this stuff was put into our culture and into our Bible. And the reason why is for paganism. So we're going to get into that next. So let's go back to Exodus. We're going to see where it comes from. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 12, verse 1. It said, "And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, In the 10th day of this month they shall take to them every man a lamb according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house. And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of the souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your count for the lamb. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. Ye shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats, and ye shall keep it until the 14th day of the same month. And the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. And they shall take of the blood and strike it on the two side posts and on the door and on the upper doorposts of the houses, wherein they shall eat it. And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it. Eat not of it raw, nor sodden. Raw is another heathen custom. Nor sodden at all with water, but roast it with fire. His head with his legs and the purtenance thereof. And ye shall let nothing of it remain until the morning, and that which remaineth of it until the morning ye shall burn with fire. And thus shall ye eat it with your loins girded, with your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand. And ye shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover. So this is what was being celebrated. It was never Easter. It was the Passover that came all the way back from Exodus, the deliverance of the Israelites from Egypt. It says, For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and I will smite all the firstborn of Egypt. I will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast. And against all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgment. I am the Lord. And the blood shall be for you for a token, and the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where ye are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you. That's what the whole purpose is, to celebrate the fact that he passed over our houses because we listened to him and kept his commandments. So he said, when he see the blood on the doorpost, he's going to pass over their houses. He said, and the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you when I smite the land of Egypt. So this is what they are celebrating in the New Testament when we go to this verse. Let me go back one. It says, and when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison and delivered him to the four quaternions of soldiers to keep him, intending after Easter to bring him forth up to the people. So it said after Easter. Again, this was meant after the Passover, because we didn't celebrate Easter. Christ never celebrated Easter. If you go through this word, you'll see it several times. Let me scroll down again. So you saw the 28 times already. All right. Scroll down. We'll see Passover, 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 Passover. They said, now his parents went to Jerusalem every year at the feast of Passover. This was something that was kept every year. Why? Let's go back to it. This is verse 14, it says, "And this day shall be unto you for a memorial, and ye shall keep it a feast to the Lord throughout your generations. Ye shall keep it a feast by ordinance forever." So this is why the Israelites still keep this feast today, as we just kept this feast this past week, the Feast of Unleavened Bread and the Passover. All right, this is commanded by the Lord to keep forever. We got to understand this. So let's get into some of this origin stuff, right? It says, the origin of Easter. Easter is a Christian holiday celebrating the resurrection of Christ, and its origin is rooted in both Jewish and early Christian traditions, with some traditions having also pagan influences. The name Easter itself, the name may be connected to the Old English goddess Estar. This is what we have to understand, man. This is the name itself tell you that this have nothing to do with the Lord. This is a false god, a pagan god name, a goddess. It says, who was associated with springtime and new life. The holiday is celebrated around the time of the Jewish Passover. It says around the time. We have to understand that's the reason why they get the two mixed up. It says, as Jesus' crucifixion and resurrection are believed to occur during that time. Let's go down a little bit. Pagan influences. The word Easter is often linked to the Anglo-Saxon goddess Estar, who was associated with spring. I need to zoom this thing in. There we go. Oh yeah. Who was associated with spring and fertility. Some traditions, like Easter eggs, may have roots in pagan spring festivals. This is where you get the eggs from. The eggs and the egg is a tradition where you're reenacting uh what you call conception. So in the woman's body, once the sperm goes in, the sperm goes and finds the eggs. Once it gets to the eggs, it opens up, it goes into the egg. Your children are reenacting this festival or reenacting this custom by going, searching, finding an egg, and open up the egg. Your children are playing the part of the sperm. All right. Understand that that's where that comes from. Do bunnies lay eggs? No. Rabbits, bunnies are mammals and do not lay eggs. So what are we doing here? Like, why do we even have eggs in bunnies here? Because it's fertility. It has to do with fertility. These are two things that have to do with fertility. That's it. That's all it is, y'all. It has nothing to do with Christ. It never did. The whole time it had to do with fertility. Where's my number at? Let's see here. Okay. That's all it is. So it says a list of pagan holidays. This is something that might be shocking to some, not to most, because by now y'all know this stuff is pagan, man. Y'all just do it anyway. So it says, how many holidays are pagan? It's difficult to give an exact number of holidays with pagan origins, as the concept of pagan is broad and encompasses many different traditions and beliefs. However, some common holidays with roots in ancient pagan festivals include, it said, roots in ancient pagan festivals includes Christmas, New Year's Day, Easter, and Halloween. This one shouldn't be a surprise. This definitely shouldn't be a surprise. But yes, New Year's Day and Easter is also pagan holidays. It roots in pagan festivals. Y'all got to understand that this is what it really is. You can't call yourself a follower of Christ, which is what you say you are when you say you're Christian, or at least that's what they tell you. You can't say that you're a follower of Christ and celebrate Easter, all right? Because this is a pagan festival. Again, we just went through the definition. It's only one time, and then when we clicked on the definition, we don't see nothing about no bunnies, we don't see nothing about no eggs. So what are we really doing? We celebrating a pagan festival, a pagan custom, and we reenacting uh, what they call it. It's basically a reenactment of a, a sexual ritual. So we got to really catch on to that and just get rid of the paganism in our house. So again, this is a list of pagan holidays, y'all. Let's get back to it. It says, Proverbs 3 and 31, envy thou not the oppressor and choose none of his ways. All right, with that, I hope y'all got some understanding on Easter. Just want to bring that out to y'all real quick. So hopefully y'all don't go out there tomorrow and have your kids celebrating some evil holiday that God tell you not to do. He said, choose none of their ways. The Bible is a Hebrew book. The Bible is about the Israelites. It's a book given to the Israelites telling them not to celebrate the holidays and the customs of the heathen. All right, we have to remember that. Let me get one more real quick. Get to Jeremiah 10. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10, verse 1. It says, hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen. This book, again, this is speaking to the house of Israel, telling them from the beginning to the end how to behave themselves, telling them the laws of God. And anybody that wanted to serve the God of Israel, they had to follow these same rules. He said, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain. This is one vain custom as well. It says, for one cutteth the tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workman with an axe. They deck it with silver and with gold. This is what they do for Christmas. All right, this is another pagan custom, as we just seen in the list of pagan holidays. He said they deck it with silver and gold, they fasten it with nails and with hammers that it move not. So this is another custom he told us not to keep. But notice he said, learn not the way of the heathen. We are not to be doing the things that the heathen do. All right. That's what this is really all about at the end of the day. If you can't catch on to that, you can't be saved, man. You will not be saved keeping the customs of the heathen. All of the holidays in America are pagan holidays. Notice they say in God we trust. They say it's a Christian nation, but they don't celebrate any of the Bible's holidays. None of them. Not one of the biblical holidays are celebrated in America. But all of the holidays that they have on their calendar are all pagan holidays, and none of them are found in the Bible. Why is that? It's because this is not really a country of God. All right, it's a country of liars. Y'all really got to get that and understand it so you can help your children. You know what I'm saying? Your children, a lot of people say they celebrate these holidays for the children, which is the reason, it's the reason why it's set up like that, for the sole purpose of you passing this custom down further and further throughout your generations. When Christ told us not to do this, he told us to keep the Passover throughout our generations. All right. So with that, I'm going to holler at y'all later. Shalom.